Hey there. Hi, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 15th. It is 11:11 on the East Coast, 8:11 on the West Coast, and another 11 all over the world. Yes, it is. It is Tuesday. It will be Tuesday for another little while yet tonight. And then it'll be a Tuesday again next week. And we'll be back here, same time, probably a different place next Tuesday. But for right now, we are here at the ranch, and it's a beautiful night. It's really quiet until I start talking. And I am excited because tomorrow morning I'm going to be baking or making something. I have no idea what. Or maybe we'll see. Something will happen tomorrow. Patty won't be with us because she's driving the taster to the airport because he's going to Sicily. And then tomorrow night, I get to taste what Shanna's making in the kitchen. Cookies and cocktails with Shanna Rader. And then Thursday morning, walking in the garden, taking a hike or something, probably walking in the garden in Fairfax area, Forest Knolls, kind of out in that vibe. And then Thursday night, Corona Roki. Might be a small show, but that's okay. A lot of people are gigging now, which is very cool. In fact, I was going to go to a gig, see some friends play, and then I thought, I can't. I have to do Corona Roki. If it were another week, I would have done conversations with the creative and had whoever had the gig. I would have them be the guest, and then we would watch them play. I already have that partly figured out, just partly. And then Friday morning, walk in the neighborhood. And then Friday night, display and share will be Blue Coast recording warrior woman, engineer, producer, groovy Cookie Marenko will be my guest. And we will be talking about the release of my new record with Matt Rawlings, pianist Matt Rawlings. I know you've probably seen it on Facebook like 7 times already. Get ready for 8, 9, and 10. And then Saturday morning, Jeff Metzger will be back from Palm Desert with some great stories, I'm sure. And Saturday night, Gary Lambert, I'll be somewhere, I'm not sure where, but I will be coming off a really great gig. That's right. I have a gig at 3 p.m. with Robin Lewis and Glenn Appel in Oakland, 3 to 5 p.m. on Saturday. And then Sunday morning, I'll be walking around, hanging out. Sunday evening, I don't know. I just don't know. But it'll be something. It'll be some kind of a square table, a musician's square table, but I don't know where it will be. And then Monday morning meandering and Monday night meditation and Tuesday morning chillin' and Tuesday night. What's Tuesday night all about? I'll show you. Ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Andrew Rader, acupuncturist, hypnotherapist to the stars. What's up?
Hey, Jenna.
Hi there.
I'm still orange, red.
You got orange. Is your shirt orange?
No, it's the lighting. It's just
No, but your shirt looks orange also.
my shirt is orange. There's orange in it, so it accentuates. Yeah.
How's it going?
Well, we just got back this weekend from watching our youngest graduate from Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. And we brought my mom for that, as well as to see her new great grandson, her first great grandson.
Was that her first time seeing him?
Yes. And what was truly wonderful and sublime, this baby is 6, 7 weeks old, and he's just learning how to focus, and generally he's not looking at anything in particular, and he's making guttural sounds, pushing things through, and then fussing for food. But he got into my mom's lap, and she was talking to him, and he was looking right at her and started cooing. And everyone was amazed, including his mom, because he hadn't done that before.
Wow.
Yeah, it was special.
That's
So they had a
divine
real
time.
real conversation. And then he did it for me a little later in the afternoon. So he's learning language.
How fun. That is so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm just looking at I want to edit the privacy and make sure that we're public. We are now public. And I just want to see who's here really super quick. Patty's here, my mom is here, William is here, Carol and Ra Morocco, Suzanne Hertzman, William D, Carl Hess. The crew's all here. And tomorrow night I will be there. Did you know that? Did you know that I've invited myself back to your house?
Now,
I thought about it tonight. I was like, oh, if I could just get there Tuesday. And then I thought, this is the longest like I try not to be in a car too much. But when I'm in California, I'm drive, gotta be down here,
always.
gotta do this. And I thought, you know what? Today, this is the first day in I don't even know how long where I'm not in a car. Haven't been in a car all day. Not one time. So,
Will Blanche be coming with you, or
no.
what?
Well, is there a helipad near you?
Well, there's so much hella around here that I don't know.
She's been hanging with Cher and George Clooney.
Oh,
So, and I think Richard Branson somehow got into the mix. But
okay.
because he's doing something really groovy with water right now, and she's into the water, which I'm happy about. But she
Down
she
down in Malibu?
is she in Malibu?
Yeah.
No, I think she and Cher went somewhere. I can't remember. Someone knows. Earlier she said where she was going to go, but I wasn't really listening.
Well, Richard Branson has an island in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I think they were going somewhere like that. I think was it William? She said the Caribbean or something. Anyway, she showed up here twice in a helicopter because the neighbors have a helipad. But she left her glasses kind of. I conveniently saw them and didn't put them in her bag. So I have not these, but her sunglasses. So I might be wearing those tomorrow because I can't find my really good sunglasses. They're somewhere between your house and my house, but they are Gone, girl, gone, girl.
I haven't seen him. Gatte, gatte,
Hi, Sean.
gatte, parasol
So
gatte.
it's a new day in California. Where apparently, all of a sudden, we don't have to wear a mask.
Well, that's an illusion, um, because where I work, we are still using masks. All healthcare facilities are still using masks. And school, Shauna works at a school, they're using masks. So I think it's kind of the Wild West out here with masks, not masks. Yeah. When we
Are
were
you?
in San Luis Obispo, you could drive down the main street at night, and it's like party till it's 1999, and people are lined up like sardines. Nobody's wearing masks. They're packed into bars and clubs, full help, fire marshal ready.
And
Uh,
and what do you think of that particular move?
I think it's nuts. I think it's nuts. I wouldn't go in there. I mean, I know that there are people who feel like, yeah, I'm ready, but there's a happy medium between being quarantined in your own little house and then going back to completely as if it never happened, never was.
Like that, like overnight. Okay, flip a switch. June
Yeah,
15th.
and it's going to create a lot of confusion. For instance, each county, jurisdiction, each business, they get to decide for themselves. So everyone can be more strict because there's nothing strict right now. Everyone can be more. So if a business says, well, you can come in if you're vaccinated, well, does that mean now they're checking cards, and then now it's going to be sort of a civil rights issue. Do I need to show a card and identity? And it gets very tricky. It gets very tricky. So in a healthcare setting, you assume that everyone is contagious, always have, always will. During the AIDS epidemic, you assume that everyone has HIV. In fact, as an acupuncturist, I assume everyone has HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D and E.
You mean
Uh,
with the way with the way you move about in the space?
you have to operate as if everyone has a possible infection that can be transferred to somebody else. You have to, unless you are checking everyone immediately, and that's impossible. So you just have to assume it. That's, yeah.
That's kind of how I feel out in the world. Um,
Now the diseases that I just mentioned are all blood-borne pathogens. So it's very particular to puncturing the skin and being exposed to blood, which is not what happens.
would you go to Madison Square Garden right now to a concert?
Madison Square Garden, maybe with a mask on, because it's a huge space. No, it's indoor.
Indoors.
It's a huge space, but I wouldn't go to a packed bar and eat and drink, meaning take my mask off. No,
Would you go? Have you been inside a restaurant?
no,
No, you haven't. No, you won't.
I haven't. I've been outside.
And when do you think that will change for you?
To eat in a restaurant inside.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know. Hard to say. It's like one of those things. It's really hard to define pornography, but you know it when you see it. So it's hard to define when, but when I'm ready, I know it. I'll know it. I'll feel it. And it'll probably be one of those moments that you hadn't planned for when you woke up, but you find yourself in that situation and you just say, okay, I'll do it.
I don't even want to do a gig inside.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you must be gigs must be like blow open." First of all, people, gigs are not opening up everywhere because there are very few clubs that are open. People are saying, "Oh, you must be getting really busy." I'm not. I have a gig on Saturday on my friend Michael's porch, which you're invited to if you're around. And I have a gig July 9th outdoors and a gig July 16th outdoors.
Yeah.
That's my
And
summer.
we're lucky that it's summer
Yeah.
when we can do outdoor functions and eat outdoors. Uh, it's one of the positives is it's like Europe because you go down central San Rafael
Right.
everyone's al fresco. They've made semi-permanent, it looks like semi-permanent, if not permanent, outdoor
On the
seating.
parking structure, in the
All the
parking
parking,
spots.
all the parking is gone on the main street.
Incredible. I
And
haven't seen that, but I've seen it in Berkeley. There's lots of different.
yeah, and it's beautiful. I mean, lights are strung up. You have the propane heaters. It's got that feeling. It's a wonderful thing, and I think it's a boon for restaurants to have that. I know they can't. Maybe some restaurants actually get more seating, and they could have a few people inside. Um, and we're lucky because we can go many more months than Michigan can, or Alberta
Right.
can,
New York or
or
anything. Yeah.
Calgary, or
Yeah, right. No offense, guys.
yeah,
But they get to stay light until 11:30 at night
they
in
do.
the summertime.
They do.
So boosting your immune system and
Yeah.
staying diligent. I mean, I'm watching. I watch people on Facebook. I can. Someone asked me today, when are you guys going to stop wearing your masks? And I said never. I've been wearing masks for years on planes and in bigger places and stuff.
Yeah.
But for instance, the Foo Fighters are doing a gig at Madison Square Garden, and you have to be vaxxed.
Okay.
My fear is this card really that like I'm not a Photoshop person, but I could probably make a vaccine card.
Sure. I think there will be counterfeits, and that's why, again, you have to assume that they're not vaxxed. Yeah. Um, if a fertile woman goes into the emergency room with abdominal pain, so a menstruating woman, not menstruating that moment, but in her menstruating years, any woman who could be potentially pregnant is assumed to be pregnant until proven otherwise. So they will always do a pregnancy test if you go into the emergency room, if you're not in
Really?
that age range. I
Like
mean, if
just
you are in that,
automatically?
uh, well, let's say for anything abdominal pain, they got to rule out an ectopic pregnancy, or
Those
anything
are
that
fun.
could, any treatment or possible illness that could be affected by pregnancy. They have to know, they have to rule
Right.
it out. And they can't just ask and take the answer. They have to. Now, luckily, a pregnancy test is a real simple thing, and they could do it very easily, and it's very precise. But you can't test everyone for COVID, actually at the hospital. But spot testing is still. I don't even know today, if you went to the emergency room, they would test every single person who goes in the emergency room for COVID. You'd think they would, but we have a friend who's a surgical nurse.
Mhm.
They don't even get tested because it's a
Really? Because
private.
up in Seattle, when I went into the hospital with my friend,
Yeah.
um, they get tested walking in the door every day.
The employees,
The employees, all the employees, doctors, nurses,
is it a
everybody.
public hospital?
Yeah.
Right, that's the difference. The
Oh,
private hospitals, the corporations that own these private hospitals, are too damn cheap to pay for systemic testing. So our local hospital here is owned by Sutter. Yeah, I'll say it, Sutter, and they're too cheap to test their surgical nurses, let alone any nurses, on a daily basis or even a weekly basis or a monthly basis.
does anyone know in your hometowns where you are, Canada included, if hospitals are testing on a daily basis? Yeah, I mean, I talked to them. They even check temperatures. I went into a place the other day with a friend where you walk in through this door and they have infrared testing. Am I saying it correctly?
for temperature.
Yeah, like you walk in and they know what your temperature is. That's
Yeah,
kind of creepy and cool at the same. At least they're not shooting a gun at your head anymore. I'm like, okay, like you can do it on my wrist. Oh no, it's more accurate on your head. Yeah, well,
I
I don't need that.
I experienced that for jury duty, but a temperature is a very inaccurate way to test for COVID. It's not. I mean, if you have a temperature, then yeah, sure, let's find out what's going on. But you can be COVID positive without a temperature.
Do you find that people coming into your to where you're working, the acupuncture, are they coming in? Are they hesitant on coming in?
I
Are
would say
they?
if they're hesitant, they aren't even going to show up. The hesitant people I don't see. There's
But are they coming in for to keep their immune? I mean, are there people doing that? That's why I would want to go. I'd go keep the immune system, get a tune up,
yeah,
that kind of
people are doing that. Most people coming in because they have some pain condition. They're working with some pain condition. Most of them. Well, 2/3. Let's say 2/3. And others, they just want they're doing it more for mental health, stress relief, or it's affecting their sleep and or digestion. Those are the big categories.
So, according to Rob up in Canada, where they are still testing with full security checkpoint coming into the hospital with temp check, etc.
Probably because it's a public hospital. I,
And it's
I would
Canada.
I would be in Canada, so public health system. They they care more about doing the job. Uh, there was a New Yorker article in the June 7th New Yorker about what happens when a hedge fund buys a hospital. Because
Okay.
they can't. And especially in this particular case, they talked about, and I'm talking to a pillow, but I can imagine that.
I'm talking. I'm opening up a window because it's just so dark in here.
Uh,
I just realized I'm sitting in a really dark room and I didn't like that. It's a
so
nice pillow though.
so a private fund, private investor, basically bought Hahnemann Hospital in Philadelphia, one of the oldest hospitals. It's public. Well, it was public. Maybe no. I'm not sure, but certainly now private. And it's it's a it's a cautionary tale about what happens when private interests own what should be public institutions. In Berkeley, Sutter owns Alta Bates,
Right.
and they have to upgrade the building, retrograde for earthquake, and they're not willing to spend that kind of money. So for them, it's just a bottom line decision, and the plan is to shut down the hospital, which would leave a huge chunk of the East Bay without a hospital. And so Highland Hospital would be the closest in the south. I'm sorry for those of you who aren't familiar with the territory, but it would probably mean about 1 million to 2 million people would have to travel more than 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes to get to a hospital, which is insane.
That's insane.
Uh,
And Highland Hospital is more of a it's somewhat of
it,
a catastrophic. It's
well,
where
it's a county hospital, which means they can deal with anything.
and they do.
It's a serious hospital with a trauma center that can deal with anything. And so if Altabates closes and you're in El Cerrito, I don't even know. You might have to go out to John Muir out in
I'd drive to Napa.
Walnut Creek.
I'd drive to St. Helena.
Yeah, if you could.
Right.
If you could.
I'd say to someone, drive me to St. Helena. I'll buy you some wine
Yeah.
when we leave
If
3
you were
hours later.
conscious and able to.
Maybe I should put that on. Always, if I ever need to go to the hospital, please take me to St. Helena.
And by the way,
If you
Jenna,
walk in there, there are emergency rooms like this big. They're like, "Hello, how can
yeah,
we help you?"
and they
Is it
might
a
not be
problem?
capable, as good a hospital as it is, it's probably not capable of doing neuro trauma. You know, you need a real trauma center for that.
Right.
It's just not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay. Oh, dogs! I hear dogs barking. So that's scary.
So let's talk about lighter things.
Okay, which thing?
Um, well, our linden tree out here is in bloom, and
Show
for
us a
those,
linden. What's
linden is a tree that's very common and popular in Eastern Europe, um, and many parts of, Sean's saying in England, many parts of Europe. Linden tea from the flower, which right now is it's ready. And Shauna, I cut, so we're gonna harvest. Um, you can dry it. So we have a dehydrator, and we're gonna do a batch this year. Good for upper respiratory, good for the head. Um,
good for the head for what reason? Like for when we're
congestion, congestion.
oh, I was like,
Like
oh, I need something
science.
for my head. Yay!
Um, I am not a Western herbalist. I know more about Chinese herbs, so not. I'd have to go again research the particulars for linden tea, but it's just a nice thing to be able to make tea from a tree in your own
Yeah.
yard.
Linden.
Linen, linden. Yeah.
Linden. Well, I'll look. I'll have to see which tree it is. And
If the camera can reach.
Thursday morning, I'll sit
See
by the
that
linden.
tree?
Yes. Oh, that tree. Okay.
See all the yellow?
Yes.
Those are the leaf, the blossoms.
Ooh, that umbrella looks sorry.
Yeah.
What happened?
Sorry, umbrella.
So, are you guys watching? What are you watching? Money Heist or what is it?
Yeah, the money heist.
And he's into it.
It's a phenomenon, and it's life
I've
imitates
heard it's
art,
good.
and art
I've heard a couple
imitates
people are into it
life.
right now.
Apparently, in 2020, I don't want to tell people too much if they haven't seen it yet, but you find out pretty quickly. It's like a Ocean's 11 thing. They go into the Spanish Mint, but they're all wearing red jumpsuits, and then they put the hostages in red jumpsuits, and they have these Salvador Dali masks, and so that you can't tell the difference between the hostages and the robbers. And what ends up happening is, of course, public opinion starts to go with the robbers, because they're not robbing anybody's personal money. They're taking money from the central bank. They're actually making money. They're minting it. So
Let's do that. Why don't we just start doing minting money?
well, we do. It's called the Federal Reserve does
I
it.
meant us, like as a collective.
Yeah. So anyway, because the show became a big hit and a phenomenon, real in the streets demonstrations, people are wearing red jumpsuits with the Dali masks, And then in season 3 in this show,
Don't tell us. Don't tell us.
well, they are in the show, they are shown. All right, I won't say. I won't. The life imitates art. Art imitates life. In this show.
Oh yeah, Suzanne likes it too. So I have Carl, I really appreciate what do you do for the pain in your heart. Carl Hess, who's on the show, is part of the community here. His dog died on
Oh,
Saturday, and then
oh,
his sister died on Sunday. I think I have the days right. And very close family. And he just said, what do I do for the pain in my heart? And there really isn't there's nothing like losing a sibling, like I said to you the other day. There's nothing like losing an animal. There's nothing like losing a parent, but a sibling is like, it's not supposed to happen, or we're not prepared for that to happen. Um, but I'm sure I know you do acupuncture, but is there a good acupuncture that can be an acupressure point for grief?
Trauma under the nose.
there's
This one?
nothing. There's nothing that can.
Calm it down.
Like tapping? I mean, grief? Like doing this for tapping, I know, but I'm
Well,
just thinking,
you think about grief. I mean, it's natural to feel the pain,
right.
and there's nothing that can make that go away. However,
Not go away, but diminish. Like rescue remedy. Carl,
well,
get some
not
rescue remedy.
not so much diminish, but enable you to expand your capacity to hold. That's how I would look at it.
I like that.
Like the way they say, you know how to tame a wild bull? You put it in a huge field. So you're not making the bull calm down. You are giving the bull space to do what it needs to do. And there is a capacity within us to hold whatever comes our way.
Yeah, I like that. Space. Sunset, sunrise, go walk to the beach and look at.
And not trying to fight it. And
Yeah, it's just there, and it's and
there.
and when someone walks up to you, oh, you're still sad about such and such, that's when I go, see ya. Yep, still sad about it. Yep, still right here. Yep, still here, still wherever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, space.
And because
Really
it's
true.
an energy is in a wave pattern. Energy is wave-like, and so it comes in waves, and the intensities are coming and going.
I think of it in waves. I also think of it as a teacher that I studied with years ago says it's like an onion. You peel away the layers, and there's
Yeah.
another layer and another layer. Yeah. Suzanne lost her brother when she was 34. I'm now older than my brother was when he died, which is kind of a wild thing to grasp,
That's wild. That is
right?
wild.
Because Nino was always like he was like a guru, like a timeless person. He was an elder when he was young, old soul, born on Old Souls Day. But yeah, I sit there and I go, I'm almost 3 years older than he was when he died.
Wow. What year was Nina born?
1958,
58. Okay. So he
1959,
so
1957.
he's only a year or two. That's wild. So he's only a year or two older than me, but I always saw him as
Like this.
he was like much older and wiser and more experienced. Definitely more experienced.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was writing his obituary, um, my other brother Mitch read it, and I think, and my mom read it. My dad, of course, my mom and dad read it, and Mitch goes, "I think you should take some of this out." And I go, "Well, I didn't even talk about blah 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 blah." And he goes, "Yeah, but people aren't going to believe it. There's just not. It's just like, and then he had all these different lives in his 54 years on the planet. But anyway, Carl, so you and Nino are the same age, if you think about that. Carl's a rock star. I think, and people probably say, "Oh, Carl, play your music." Just give yourself space, give yourself permission to do what it is that, because you've never done this before. You've never lost a sister before. But yeah. Sorry, I don't mean, we could talk about another plant in your yard if you want, but it's just kind of where 1111 goes sometimes. It's kind of a heavy time.
Well, my sister, who's a Tibetan Lama, she was talking about a grief workshop she attended online a couple of weeks ago, and I wish I knew. I could find out.
Was it the Stephen Levine? I did one with
No,
Stephen Levine about two
not
months ago. That was 2 months ago.
who's a brilliant grief meister.
He's a
Um,
great actor.
but one thing she pointed out is that our culture is so happy focused, positive focused, and
Hang out on
to the point where we even have words positive emotion, negative emotion, and what he was talking about is, why are we even talking about positive and negative emotions? They're all part of the human experience, and they have their roles at their appointed hours. And to reject them, whether they're positive or negative, and I'm using those terms right now, when they naturally arise, is going to cause us suffering. And so let's just experience the full range, whether it's painful or not, joyful or not, because that's what's presenting itself. And if we resist in any way, it's gonna hurt more. We're gonna suffer
It's
more.
another opportunity for growth.
Well, yeah, you can get slapped in the face if you say that to somebody who's, another fucking growth experience, right?
I could say that, people, I'd love to, I've said that before. People, oh, but it probably gave you that experience. I said, I would rather have read about it in a book.
Yeah. But what sometimes we feel guilty for feeling the way we do. Oh, we should be over it by now. I need to be getting out and doing and moving on, and all these concepts that we throw at ourselves, sometimes because we've been conditioned by our culture, our society to respond in a particular way and beat ourselves up for it. Like for instance, some people, when a loved one dies, they feel nothing. They feel empty, or they think they should be feeling much more sadness and grief, and they're not. And then so they feel guilty about that because they believe they should be suffering more. And it's just usually on some level we're not okay with how we are. And we add to that. Our neighbor just had to put their dog down last week, and part of their trauma, the dog had congestive heart failure, so it would have good days and bad days, and good nights and bad nights. And the night before they decided to put the dog down was a horrible night for the dog. They didn't think the dog would make it. First thing in the morning, they call the vet and they're saying, it's time. So they set up the appointment. Of course, the dog's acting great, like it's feeling, and
I've experienced that.
Yeah, but they went through with it, and of course they were second guessing themselves. And did we do the right thing? And so it's really a hard one when you have a hand in it. Yeah.
But I'm also working with, unfortunately, multiple people right now that have cancer. That one is in hospice at the moment, and I've been on the phone on and off all day and on all day yesterday. And he's working really hard to be here, and he's in Georgia. And
you mean to stay?
Just his body is totally shutting down.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't want to leave the party.
He doesn't want to leave. He is a party. He's a musician. His name is Ike Stubblefield. And those of you that haven't Googled him yet, Google Ike Stubblefield and see who I saw him today. He got home to his house, and his sister and his cousins are around him. And I seriously considered flying out there, but I'm with him online, and he knows we share music and spirit, but I don't think sometimes, I've been with over 70 people that have died in my lifetime, and it's great that we're allowed to do that for our animals, and instead of having them suffer. And this is a whole other conversation that maybe we'll have some time and bring some of my doula friends on. And sometimes people need to be given permission to go. All the time. Oh yeah, for sure. And with the people I've been with, I've been there many times when the closest person to them walks out of the room. I got to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to go get a sandwich. And then they're like, they're mad at themselves because I shouldn't have left the room. And I say, they weren't going to leave with you in the room. They needed that space because they're grieving also. And I've seen it where whole families are around, and I've seen people, I've been the only person with people, but it's hard. But sometimes people need, I'm just reading something again. I wish that I wasn't. I'm sorry that I guess it's just where I'm at right now.
Well, one of the gifts, what the AIDS epidemic brought for our culture, so many young people dying, they brought an awareness and a willingness and an openness to die in a more open way, because we had so many taboos and so many blockages around death and dying. And death and dying is something that normally is shoved done in a hospital, out of sight, out of mind. So the hospice movement really got going in the mid 80s, early 90s, and in the world of grieving and grief work, and a lot came out of that, out of the AIDS.
I did my first hospice training in 1988 in Berkeley. And my very first class on, get this, you guys, in 7th grade in a public school, my English teacher, Mrs. Octoberg, taught a semester on death and dying in 7th grade. And then in 9th grade, I had another teacher, Therese Fabry, two of my favorite people, favorite teachers, taught another class on death and dying. And you could take it every year, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. I was there. By the last year, she's like, just teach the class. But I couldn't because I was in a Catholic school. But anyway, it's part of my life as much as life.
Yeah. We, my sisters have friends who were midwives in their first careers, and then they became hospice nurses in their, at the other end. And
Yeah.
for them, there's such a, they're birthing people in and birthing them out.
When I probably was 38, 40 years old, and I was with a group of people, and I was in line at Yoshi's. It's happened to me more than 10 times where people go, "Oh, you don't have a child, you didn't have any babies? You don't have a kid?" And this one woman said that to me. She said, "Oh, you have to have a child to experience what it's like to have a baby." And I looked at her and I said, "Have you ever been with someone when they've died?" And she went, "Oh, no." And she was like 40 something. Her kids were older. And I go, wait for that one. Talk about mind blowing. Kind of shut her up. Then we walked into the show. But anyway, I really do know how to deal with it. I talked to Al last night. We both agreed that at my age, I may have lived the average. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, Carl, my God, you're a rock star. You guys, wait till Carl gets a camera and a speaker, and then he plays, just so you just see Carl sitting right here with me, acoustic guitar. Bum. Beep. Yeah, I'm sure, Suzanne. Oh, you've never had a child? One time, since we're talking about it, I'll never forget. I was in Willits. We were going to a party. Everyone at the party, I won't say what they did for a living, but everyone at the party had children and they were all about the same age. They were all breastfeeding at the same time and their husbands were all drinking beer in the other room. So I was kind of sitting there like watching the guys smoke and drink, and I'm sitting there, and then this woman comes out and she sits down, and we were eating dinner, group of people, and she said, "So where are your kids?" And I said, "We don't have kids." And she goes, "Oh," and she got up and left. She walked away. And then her boyfriend, while they were in the other room doing whatever the women do, had my coat was sitting. This is a whole tangent. My coat was sitting on a chair, and he started going through my pockets in my coat. It was the most bizarre party. He was like going, "Oh, hairbrush. Oh, lip gloss. Oh, whatever, wallet." And I'm like, "Can I leave now, please?" I was lightening up the mood. Will you come back next Tuesday?
Oh, wow. Are we at the end of the hour?
Well, we don't have to be. I just
Well,
wanted to know
no,
if you're going to be
I'm
here. You got to
meaning
go watch Money Heist.
I do.
Oh my God.
Poor thing. Last time when I was there, he's like, "Shauna, can we watch Money Heist?" She's like, "But I'm going to be on the show with Jenny." He's like, "Okay." And then we ended up watching Mayor of Eastwick or something. And we're all like, "This is so boring compared to Money Heist." I didn't even know Money Heist. I felt bad for you.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here.
All right. Well, I'll be right there tomorrow night.
Yeah. Maybe while you guys are doing that, I'll watch some Korean drama.
We're gonna be making some life-changing food.
What are we making?
I'm not gonna tell.
All right. Well, let's change
We're gonna
lives.
do some gluten-free bread and spread and maybe some other surprise.
Psyched. There it is. Cookies and cocktails with Shauna. Another deep and beautiful night with you, Andy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenna.
See you tomorrow
Yay!
on
11 with Jenna.
Andy.
11 with Jenna.
Shauna too.
11 with Jenna.
And Emma.
11. Ooh, you're gonna call right now. 11 with Jenna. With Jenna. 11 with Jenna.
Right now.
11 with Jenna. With Jenna. It's 11. Ooh, you're gonna call right now. 11.
Oh, I gotta put my paws on quick. Oh, see what happens then?
Oh, that was a good one.
I know, but I can't play it or they'll cut me out.
Oh, right, because together. Yeah, I get
But
it.
if I was doing a TikTok dance and we were all yo, 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 you can play it. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. And I'll play you the new, oh, I think I did play the single from the new record. Keep Me in Your Heart for a While. If you haven't heard it yet, you'll hear it tomorrow.
Jenna, will you be here? Will you be here like around 4:30?
Probably maybe a little bit later, depending on what time I get out of here. You get off work at 4-ish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be there soon after.
Okay. Yay. Mwah.
See you guys. Bye. Oh, wow. Whoa. Wow. Is that what it looks like? Crazy. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Patty. Share the show with your friends. I know we have these great moments, but you know what? It's us. We're all good. Us and Blue Dog and Lily and Pearl, too. There's the Blue Dog. There's the Lily and Pearl. She's right next to me. Right here. She woke up at 5:30 this morning, 5 o'clock. Now I know why. Because there are these pigs that dig a lot here, and not here, but out there. And they get rid of them, and they make noise. It freaks her out. Like fireworks, kind of. Huge hug. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Mama Grace. I'll see you in a minute. We did Mama Grace's hair tonight. She looks so good. Mama Grace, you look so good. Generous thoughts. Good words and a gargantuan heart. That's right. Gargantuan. I said it. See you tomorrow morning. I'll be doing something. I don't know, but I'll be here. But Patty's just going to pop in. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Be nice. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Shauna. See ya.